banks were tumbling like crazy, guys. It was really crazy. But look at this. So Dow Jones took a beating, S&P, NASDAQ. NASDAQ was down over to President Trump and how he was talking about the quantum leap. All right, it's about 3 minutes, so I'm going to have play that for you, and then I'm going to tie it into an individual that we've been following for about the last month. His name is Dr. Stephen Greer, and he's been doing a lot of digging and information and research, and he's even been asked in many of his videos. He talks about many different things, but one of his 5 videos I've watched, he said that he was asked by the clown agency to shut up, don't talk about anything you have found about the technology that's out there. We will give you $2 billion, and Dr. Greer said no. Good for Dr. Greer. So let me play the clip from President Trump about his quantum leap speech.
Past generations of Americans pursued big dreams and daring projects that once seemed absolutely impossible. They pushed across an unsettled continent and built new cities in the wild frontier. They transformed American life with the interstate highway system. Magnificent it was. And they launched a vast network of satellites into orbit all around the earth. But today, our country has lost its boldness. Under my leadership, we will get it back in a very big way. If you look at just 3 years ago, what we were doing was unthinkable. How good it was, how great it was for our country. Our objective will be a quantum leap in the American standard of living. That's what will happen. Here are just a few of the ways we can do it. Almost 1/3 of the land mass of the United States is owned by the federal government, with just a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, 1/2 of 1%. Would you believe that? We should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. In other words, we'll actually build new cities in our country again. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people and other people, all hard-working families, a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream. Another big opportunity is in transportation. Dozens of major companies in the United States and China are racing to develop vertical takeoff and landing vehicles for families and individuals. Just as the United States led the automotive revolution in the last century, I want to ensure that America, not China, leads this revolution in air mobility. These breakthroughs can transform commerce, bring a giant infusion of wealth into rural America, and connect families and our country in new ways. Likewise, through our Strategic National Manufacturing Initiative, which is going to be very big and very, very successful, we will turn forgotten communities into hives of industry, producing the goods we will no longer import from China. We will also have a major initiative on lowering the cost of living with a special focus on lowering the cost of a new car and lowering the cost to build a single-family home. And they will be beautiful homes. And I will ask Congress to support baby bonuses for young parents to help launch a new baby boom. Finally, I'll challenge the governors of all 50 states to join me in a great modernization and beautification campaign, getting rid of ugly buildings, refurbishing our parks and our public spaces, making cities and towns more livable, ensuring a pristine environment, and building towering monuments to our true American heroes. Very importantly, I will also make sure all of these new places are safe. We love and cherish our police. They will do the job the way they have to. It is time to start talking about greatness for our country again. I will dramatically increase living standards and build a future that brings our country together through excitement, opportunity, and success. Thank you very much.
Okay, so after that speech, moments after that speech, which was on March 4th of 2023, New York Post put this out. Trump proposes futuristic Jetsons like Freedom Cities. And okay, so it's very, very incredible. He's talking about Freedom Cities. He's talking about technologies. There's many, 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 many things that we do not know about. So what's quantum? What is the quantum financial system? Why are we going through this right now? This is just my opinion. You can decide on this, but I believe it's because President Trump, again, our great person that's been giving us great information, has been saying, and other people have been saying it as well, that President Trump is, barring any problems, any major circumstances, President Trump is supposed to make his return in sometime in April of 2023, which is just a few weeks. It could be anywhere from 3 to 7, 8 weeks from now, right? Now, again, I'm not giving dates. I made the mistake of doing that before, but that's what we were told, barring any problem. So he's talking about this. Now, I'm going to share Dr. Greer's first minute and a half of one of his videos, and why the markets are being affected. Is it because these futuristic cities have already been used or are in the process of being revealed along with the quantum financial system? Check this out, guys.
Since the 40s and 50s, but had mastered the basic science for lift and movement in strange ways without a rocket or a jet engine in the 50s. So a lot of people are being deceived on this, quite deliberately, because I think the bigger secret than the fact that we're not alone in the universe is that we have highly classified projects that have technologies that would make your hair curl, that are so advanced. And the reason that's kept secret is that if that information comes out and is acknowledged, then the next step is every scientist in the world and technology company in the world is going to say, how are they operating? And when they ask that question, it'll be answered. We have the answers. And it's the end of oil, gas, coal, public utilities, internal combustion engines, jets, rockets, all of it's obsolete. So you're talking more than $1,000 trillion in assets, commodities, financial instruments that would be made worthless. So the secrecy has to do with geopolitical power and control and financial control and power and corruption. So when you see a story like that in the New York Times, you have to understand what the context is. There are people who are being allowed to say a certain amount of information. If they say something too far, then they're going to try to retract it, because there were so many people saying, what? We have a technology project studying these things? For how long? Well, that is a question they do not want asked by the media, by the public, by Congress, by the president, because that means that what's going to come out is the biggest scandal. It make Watergate look like nothing. And that is that there is a very classified project that's been around since the 40s and 50s that we haven't even needed rockets since the mid-50s. So that information is so scandalous that that's a bridge too far, and that's why it gets pulled back every time it begins to emerge. And for example, my archive is filled with documents, footage, and top secret people who have dealt with.
Okay, so you're connecting the dots. Now, let me get into the quantum financial system and the banks. So let me play this clip with Mornings with Maria. And this is Larry McDonald, who was a guest. Now, he's not really a fan of the financial experts that are